Eugene Henri Paul Gauguin was born June 7, 1848, in Paris. Largely self-taught through his relationships with other artists, by the early 1880s he was exhibiting with the Impressionists, facilitated by his friendship with Camille Pissarro. Soon, however, he began developing his own distinct style, characterized by a bolder use of color and less traditional subject matter. Travels to Brittany, Martinique, and especially Tahiti resulted in works with vivid color and symbolist themes, and also proved his most successful financially. With a major impact on the French avant-garde and modern artists Pablo Picasso and Henri Matisse, Gauguin became even more popular and influential after his death. While better known as a painter, Gauguin experimented in many forms of media. And in Paul Gauguin, The Art of Invention, the St. Louis Art Museum, with works from its own collection, the Ny Carlsberg Glyptotek in Copenhagen, and other local collections, seeks to highlight the evolution of Gauguin's art in its varied forms throughout his long career and travels.
Academic art in the late 19th century is often very polished, very finished. Gauguin's work is often very much the opposite of that. The sculpture has a very kind of rough, unpolished surface. You see that a little bit in the ceramics as well. The paintings, they have that to some extent, but they're also very noticeable for their color. Gauguin is a great colorist. That's part of his invention. That's part of what separates his work. This exhibition is called Paul Gauguin, The Art of Invention, and it really highlights Gauguin's importance as a post-impressionist artist. We wanted to showcase his radical experiment in a range of media. So you'll see in this exhibition paintings, sculpture, ceramics, which I think might surprise people, prints, and also his writings. So you'll see him represented in a range of different media. The works by Gauguin in the show are largely from a collection in Copenhagen, the Ny Carlsberg Glyptotek, which is one of the most impressive collections of Gauguin's work in the world. We've added to that with work from the St. Louis Art Museum collection and a couple of local collections, really to kind of amplify the idea of Gauguin's experiment and also the way in which his travels inform that experiment. The early gallery looks at the importance of Gauguin as an impressionist. He showed at 5 of the 8 impressionist exhibitions. And after that, it kind of traces his travels to Denmark, to his time in France, in Brittany, and then to various French colonies, to Martinique, and then later on to Tahiti and the Marquesas Islands. He lived in Tahiti and the Marquesas for 10 years. So he was, I think, genuinely fascinated by the culture and also aware of the tensions within society at the time, the tensions between the historic Tahitian Polynesian religion and Catholicism. Those tensions were very present on the island, and his art is very much about that tension. At the end of the exhibition, we have a book called Modern Thought and Catholicism, which is a 91-page manuscript that Gauguin wrote. As a boy, he was schooled at a Jesuit seminary, so he knew the Bible actually pretty well, and the manuscript that we have here is a kind of mix of his interest in Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, ancient Egyptian theology, and also Polynesian theology. So he brings all those elements together. It is an important manuscript. It was gifted to the museum by the actor Vincent Price, interestingly, in 1948. And I hope this exhibition will help to make it a little bit better known.